The bell above the diner door jingled softly as a cold wind slipped inside, trailing behind a young woman with a slight limp. Her name was Lily Parker, 19 years old, her worn-out backpack clutched tightly to her chest. She had one good leg and one wrapped in a metal brace that squeaked faintly as she walked. But behind her quiet presence was a heart that had known more strength than most people twice her age. She worked 2 jobs, studied at night, and still found time to smile at strangers. The locals at Sam's diner knew her, some admired her courage, others simply pitied her. But that morning, as the smell of bacon and coffee filled the air, 3 young men swaggered in, bringing a cloud of arrogance with them. They were loud, confident, the kind who thought laughter made cruelty sound like a joke. When they spotted Lily at the counter, fumbling with her coins, they smirked. "Hey, Roboleg!" one of them called out, loud enough for everyone to hear. The diner went silent. Lily froze. Her knuckles whitened around the small change in her hand. The leader, a tall guy in a leather jacket, walked closer, pretending to limp mockingly. His friends laughed. Then, without warning, he slapped the cup from her hand, splashing hot coffee over her uniform. Lily's eyes glistened. She didn't shout, didn't fight back. She just picked up her bag and limped out, disappearing into the cold. An hour later, the bell above the diner door jingled again. This time, 6 bikers walked in. And the air changed. Lily's story was known to a few around town. She'd been in an accident when she was 10. A drunk driver hit her family's car. Her father died on the spot. Her mother barely survived. Lily lost most of the use of her left leg. Since then, life hadn't given her many reasons to smile, but she still found them, tiny ones, like the sunrise on her way to work, or the kindness of her boss, Sam, who always kept a plate of pancakes ready when she came in for breakfast. That morning had started like any other. She'd sat at her favorite booth by the window, humming quietly as she reviewed notes for her online business class. She dreamed of becoming a designer one day, creating art, building something of her own. The world had called her disabled, but Lily refused to be limited. The bullies didn't know her story. To them, she was just a target, an easy one. The leader, Jake, strutted like he owned the place. His friends, Kyle and Brent, followed his lead. They'd been in trouble before, rude to staff, mean to anyone who couldn't fight back. But this time, they went too far. When Jake slapped the cup from Lily's hand, it wasn't just coffee that spilled, it was the patience of everyone watching. The waitress gasped. Sam shouted, "Hey! That's enough!" But Lily stopped him with a quiet, trembling voice. "It's okay," she whispered. She walked out, tears sliding down her cheeks as she limped to the bus stop. Inside the diner, the bullies laughed it off, boasting about it like it was a joke. They didn't notice the older man at the corner booth, grizzled beard, leather jacket, silent eyes. He had watched everything. He took a long sip of coffee, stood up, and left without a word. An hour later, the bell rang again. The ground seemed to shake slightly as 6 bikers walked in, their boots heavy, their jackets marked with a symbol that read, Iron Saints. They were a known motorcycle club, not a gang, but a brotherhood of veterans, truckers, and mechanics who had one rule: never touch the innocent. The leader, Grayson, the same man who had been sitting quietly earlier, led the way. His beard was gray, his eyes sharp but calm. The waitress froze, heart pounding. Everyone knew the Iron Saints didn't come anywhere without purpose. Grayson walked straight to the counter. "Morning," he said softly. "I'm looking for a girl. Name's Lily Parker. She was here earlier." The waitress nodded nervously and pointed toward the booth where the bullies still sat, trying to shrink into their seats. Grayson's eyes followed her finger. He turned slowly, scanning the 3 men. The diner went dead silent again. Even the ceiling fan seemed to stop spinning. Jake tried to laugh it off. "Hey man, we didn't mean any harm, just joking around." Grayson walked closer until his shadow fell across their table. "You think it's funny to hurt someone who can't fight back?" Jake's smile faded. "We were just..." Grayson slammed his gloved hand on the table, making the plates rattle. "That girl you laughed at? She's my niece." The room gasped. Kyle muttered, We didn't know, that's the problem, Grayson said. You don't think. You don't care. But today you will. He turned to his crew. Gentlemen, help our new friends learn some manners. The bikers didn't lay a finger on them. Instead, they handed them rags and cleaning spray. You're gonna see. Grayson looked back at the boys one last time. You boys got lucky today. We ain't the law. But if I ever hear you lay a hand on someone like her again. He leaned in close. You'll be seeing us again. They nodded, trembling. The bikers walked out, the sound of their engines echoing like thunder down the street. That evening, Lily came back, nervous but curious. Sam greeted her with a warm smile. Got something for you, he said, handing her the envelope. She frowned. What's this? From some friends, he said simply. Inside was a stack of cash, enough to cover her semester fees, and a handwritten note. Keep walking, Lily. The world tried to slow you down, but you keep proving it can't. The Iron Saints. Tears filled her eyes. She sat in her booth, staring at the letter, the same seat where she'd been humiliated hours before. But now, everything felt different. The world hadn't just shown her cruelty, it had shown her courage and compassion. Lean this diner, Grayson ordered. Every booth. Every counter. Every spill. And when you're done, you'll apologize to everyone who had to watch what you did. The bullies looked terrified, but none dared to argue. For the next hour, they scrubbed every inch of the diner while the bikers sat quietly, sipping their coffee. No one dared to laugh now. When they were done, Grayson stood and walked to the counter. He took out an envelope and placed it gently beside the register. For Lily, he said. College fund. Tell her it's from the Iron Saints. Sam nodded, eyes shining. You got it, brother. A few months later, Lily started her first semester in college. She volunteered to speak at a local youth center, telling her story about how strangers stood up for her when others stayed silent. Jake and his friends were there too, sentenced to community service. They listened quietly, ashamed but changed. After her speech, Jake walked up to her and said softly, I'm sorry. Lily smiled. Don't be sorry. Be better. Sometimes life sends angels in leather jackets. Sometimes strength doesn't come from fists. It comes from standing up when no one else will. And that day in a small-town diner, Justice didn't wear a badge, it rode in on 2 wheels. Motorcycle fire.